Hello friends, welcome back to Restart UPSC. So far we have completed 2000, up to 2017 papers, right? Now let's start with the 2018 GS paper. Let's go to the first question. Consider the following statements. In the first Lok Sabha, the single largest party in opposition was Swatantra Party. No friends, it was not Swatantra Party. It was CPI. Okay, it has won 16 seats. Okay, where INC, Indian National Congress, it has won 364 seats out of some 489 seats. Okay. So this statement is wrong, right? No. In the Lok Sabha, a leader of opposition was recognized for the first time in 1969. Yes, friends. It was recognized for the first time in 1969. Okay, and it was given statutory status. Okay, statutory recognition or status in the year 1977. Okay. No. See here, first statement is wrong. Let's remove these options. So we know 2 is right. Let's go to the third statement. In the Lok Sabha, if a party does not have a minimum of 75 members, its leader cannot be recognized as leader of opposition. See here, friends, one party, it must secure at least 10% of seats. Right, that is seats of Lok Sabha. So what is 10% of Lok Sabha? Approximately it will become 55 seats. So he has given 75, right? So this statement is wrong. Now if you observe the options, 3 is present in 3 options. So in that way also, if you know the third statement, you can get to the answer. See, even if you know or don't know about Swatantra Party, whether it was the opposition, the single largest opposition or not, by knowing that third statement is false, you can get to the answers. Okay. Now let's go to the second question. Which of the following leaf modifications occurs in the desert areas to inhibit water loss? Okay. Let's try to visualize few things. See here, in the deserts we find dates, cactus, right? Small leafed shrubs. Okay, see here, hard and waxy leaves. Yes, so that water loss is reduced. Because of transpiration, water will be lost through leaves, right? So when it is wax coated or hard leaves, so the transpiration will be reduced. So in this way, they can store water. Now tiny leaves, see here, the surface area gets reduced. Right, the surface area exposed to the sun reduced, so evaporation rate will also reduce. There's the evaporation from the leaves, it's called transpiration. So in here also, tiny leaves helps in reducing the water loss. Now thorns instead of leaves, see here, thorns are pointed. Okay, so the surface area exposed to the sun is very less, right? So even here also the water loss will be very less, right? So answer is 1, 2 and 3. This is very general question only, friends. I think it is there in NCERTs also, right? So let's go to the third question. As per NSSO 70th round situation assessment survey of agriculture households, consider the following statements. Okay, friends, the one which is very much recent is NSSO 77 SAS, okay, which was for the term 2018 to 2019. Okay, it was published in 2021. Okay, even this data from this SAS and even from NSSO 70th round also, the figures are very similar. Okay, that's why I have given this point before itself, right? Very similar results only. Okay, I think now this is the latest one which is present. So UPSC may not ask on this, but wherever this organization is conducting any surveys, okay, in the recent current affairs, whatever are there, it becomes very important. Okay, now let's go to the statements. Rajasthan has the highest percentage share of agriculture households among its rural households. Yes, friends, this statement is correct according to this survey. Okay, these statements are very factual, right? So the best thing we can do in the examination is, if such type of questions are being asked, if you don't know the question, please try to skip it. Okay. Now, out of total agricultural households in the country, a little over 60% belong to OBCs. It is not 60%, it is about 45.8%. Okay, so this statement gets negated. See here, UPSC is playing with numbers. right? So we don't know whether it is 60% or something. So this type of questions, please try to skip, friends. Okay. Now, in the Kerala, a little over 60% of agriculture households reported to have received maximum income from the sources other than agriculture activities. Yes, friends, this statement is correct. Okay. See, all these statements are factually based upon this survey data. Okay. Of course, it is asked in 2018. Now it can be relevant or cannot be relevant, right? So we'll try to skip these type of questions. Okay. We'll just try to know the basics things about this situation assessment survey. Okay, and also the recent survey, NSO 77th. Okay. So again, these questions may not be asked again, but we have to focus on this organization, NSSO, right? Now it is NSO. Okay, the surveys which they do. Okay, all these things becomes very much important, and also we'll try to make notes of this situation assessment survey in brief. Why? Because since it is asked, maybe we can use it in the mains or else in any other exams, right? So I'll try to make notes. Will just try to know basics about this, but we'll not get deeper into this. Okay. Now coming to fourth question: how is National Green Tribunal different from Central Pollution Control Board? Okay. NGT has been established by an act, whereas CPCB has been created by an executive order of the government. No, it is not an executive order. See here we have separate NGT Act. The same way CPCB is established under Water Act. Okay, Water Act 1974. So first statement is wrong. Now, NGT provides environmental justice and helps reduce the burden of litigation in the higher courts, whereas CPCB promotes cleanliness of streams and wells and aims to improve the quality of air in the country. This statement is exactly true, friends. So answer is 2 only. Okay. See, as I said, NGT, there is separate act. It was passed in 2010, right? And see here, mostly the courts which are present, High Supreme Court and High Court, all the other subordinate judiciaries, what they will do, they 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 deliver justice based on, see, Civil Procedure Code, now BNS, right? But coming to NGT, it will also it also has what it, it also governs the issues based on the guiding principles of natural justice as well. Okay, not based on evidences, all these things. In the terms of natural justice also, the issues are being solved. Okay, the principal seat is in New Delhi, and there are 4 other places where tribunal is sitting. Okay, that is one is Bhopal, Chennai, Kolkata, and Pune. Okay, please remember this. Now, as we discussed, CPCB is formed under the Water Act 1974, and the powers and functions of CPCB are also mentioned in the Air Act. Okay, Air Act. Air Act 1981. Okay, mainly it is for the environmental protection and maintaining the cleanliness. Okay, cleanliness, air quality, all these things. Okay, now what we have to do? We need to prepare NGT Act, CPCB, and the relevant acts that are there, Air Act, Water Act. Okay, again, Environmental Protection Act will come because NGT focuses on this Environmental Protection Act only, right? And also there are other acts apart from Air Act and Water Act, right? So even those things also we need to revise. Okay, so now let's go to the fifth question. Consider the following statements. Parliament of India can place a particular law in 9th schedule of the Constitution. Yes, this statement is correct. Only Parliament can do that. See here, it is still there in news because recently Telangana government has increased the OBC reservation to 42%, and now asking the Parliament or Centre to place that law of reservation of Telangana for the OBCs into the 9th schedule. Okay, it is in news, very much in news. So for 2025 also it can be relevant. Now, the validity of a law placed in 9th schedule cannot be examined by any court, and no judgments can be made on it. Okay, friends, this is there in Article 31B. From Article 31B only we have introduced 9th schedule, right? Now what happened in the IR Coelho case? IR Coelho case in 2007. It is also called as 9th schedule case. Supreme Court has clearly mentioned that after the date of verdict of case 1 on the Bharati case, that is 24th April 1973. Now, 9th schedule will also be in the ambit of judicial review. Okay, so now this will not be there. So it can be examined. Okay, because of IR Coelho judgment. Okay, the laws which are placed before judgment of case on the Bharati case, they will not be reviewed again. But after 24th April 1973, that is after the case on the Bharati case, whichever law is placed in 9th schedule, it can be judicially reviewed. Okay, then that means there is no use of placing those laws in the 9th schedule if we are violating the basic structure or else any other doctrines as well. Right? So this statement is wrong. Answer is only 1. Right? Now what we have to do? See, schedules become very important, especially 9th schedule also will become very important. Okay, how it is formed, the relevant amendments, all these things, right? And land reforms acts were the first acts which to be placed in the 9th schedule, so we need to read about 9th schedule very, very clearly. And now parliament chapter becomes very important, right? See here, IR Coelho case, it is there. He is referring IR Coelho case only in this statements, and Keshavananda Bharati case also. Okay, so these things becomes very important. Well, let's try to read all these things. Okay, UPSC will give one statement, one question this way, and it will try to make other dimensions from these type of questions. Okay, so that's it, friends. Here answer is 1, right? No. Let's go to the 6th question. Which one of the following best describes the term merchant discount rate sometimes seen in news? See here, friends. This is here he is just asking for the definition of merchant discount rate. Okay, this is, see, what is merchant discount rate means? We as a customer, we go to a shop or else we go somewhere else. So what they'll ask, there are few offers on credit cards and debit cards they will tell. Okay, so when we are doing transactions based on debit cards and credit cards, so that merchant, whoever we are paying, he has to pay some sort of commission, okay, to the banks which they are providing the debit cards and credit cards. Okay, it's not a commission, it is a rate at which the merchant has to pay the charge or fees to the banks. Okay, now let's go to the statements. Incentive given by a bank? No, it's not an incentive. Amount paid back by banks? No, this is not the case. The charge to a merchant by a bank for accepting payments from his customers through bank's debit cards. Okay, this is the correct statement, friends. Okay, so here it is not only debit cards, it is credit card as well. Okay, this fee, it is between from 1% to 3% approximately. Okay, he is telling discount rate, but it is not the discount rate. It is the fee which the merchant has to pay to the banks. So answer is C. Right? Now what becomes important here? We have to read about the banking sector since banks are mentioned, and see here merchant discount rate is there. Right? So we need to read everything about what happens with the transactions. Okay, now UPI is there, NPCI is there, RuPay cards, e-rupee, all these things are there, no? All these things related to this money transactions, all these things become very important. We have to read on all those things. Okay, friends? Because see, UPSC is asking just a simple definition of this. So in the coming years, it may ask the same definitions related to the recent developments. Okay, so we have to read everything about the banking sector and everything regarding the transactions. Right? Any developments regarding the transactions. Okay, so I'll try to make notes on all these things. I'll try to read about all those things, and also I'll share in the Telegram group as well. Okay, I'm just telling you to, so that all these things become very important, because you also try to make your own notes and read on those things, because the things which we read on our own, we can remember it for a long time, right? So of course I will also provide. Okay, you try to supplement from my notes. Okay, but preparing our own notes is also very good thing, right? Now, coming to 7th question. What is or are the consequences of a country becoming the member of nuclear supplier group? Okay, see here he is asking the consequences. Now what we need to learn, what are the provisions to join the nuclear suppliers group? Okay, that becomes important, right? So let's keep this aside and let's go to the statements. it will have access to the latest and most efficient nuclear technologies. Yes, this statement is true. Okay, nuclear suppliers group, it was formed because India tested its nuclear plan. That's why they have formed this nuclear supplier group so that they can counter the access to the nuclear technologies. So they want to become a cartel. Whoever people join in that energy, they only will be getting the technologies. The other people, they won't be getting. India has made its own legacy by creating plutonium-based nuclear fuels, all these things, but it needs technology. So even today, we are striving for the membership of energy, where China is stopping us. Okay, now let's go to the second statement. It automatically becomes a member of NPT. No, does not become an automatic member. Okay, I think this is the provision for to join the nuclear suppliers group. And of course, India, even though it is not NPT, but still India managed to join MTCR, right? Other nuclear suppliers, other nuclear regimes. Even India has got concession from America, and it has made 1, 2, 3 agreement for us. It has amended its own agreement to give us nuclear fuel, uranium fuels. Okay, it has been an exception, and in here also, even if India is not a member of NPT, also it would have got the membership into energy, but China is stopping us. Okay, so here here the answer is 1. Now what we have to do, we need to read about energy, its provisions, okay, and also NPT, right? What are its members? Okay, now India is not a member of NPT. Why? Because see, NPT is a very peculiar agreement where there are P5 countries, that is USA, Russia, UK, France, and China. They have nuclear powers. They are nuclear powers. They have the nuclear technology, and also they have the nuclear weapons. All these things. But what they have devised this treaty so that they will be having the nuclear weapons, but no other nation should have the nuclear weapons. Okay, no other country should not proliferate or should not manufacture the nuclear weapons. So see, this is very discriminatory. So India is not part of NPT, right? So these are the background of it. So let's read about energy, its provisions, and also NPT, and also other nuclear regimes, whichever are there, right? And is India part of those nuclear regimes? Okay, and also China is also part of few nuclear regimes, and China is also not part of one nuclear regime. Okay, please try to comment in the comment section, right? So let's read on all those things. Let's make notes on all those things, right? Now, coming to 8th question. With reference to India's decision to levy an equalization tax of 6% on online advertisement services offered by non-resident entities, which of the following statements are correct? See here, friends, during the recent developments in the 2025, by April 2025, there is no equalization tax levied on the online merchants at present. After April 2025, now there is no equalization tax levied. Okay, it is abolished completely. Okay, so this question is not relevant now, but we should know what is equalization levy, right? No. See, it is introduced as part of Income Tax Act. No, it is not part of Income Tax Act. Okay, this is very simple question. Okay, it is just a direct tax. Okay, it is not under the Income Tax Act. It is just a financial bill. Okay, it's a financial bill which was passed, right? As a separate bill, it is passed and it became an act, but it is not part of Income Tax Act. Okay, so this is one. Now, non-resident entities that offer advertisement services in India can claim a tax credit. Here is telling claim a tax credit. This claiming a tax credit is part of Income Tax Act, but this tax is not part of Income Tax Act. So claiming an income tax credit is also not possible. Okay, very basic thing. We just wanted to know the basic thing that claiming an income tax credit is part of Income Tax Act and equalization levy is not part of Income Tax. That's it. If we know these points, we can solve this question very easily. Okay, see here, in their home country under the double taxation avoidance agreement. So of course these two statements are wrong. Answer is neither 1 or 2. Now what we have to do is we need to read about Income Tax Act as it is mentioned. Income tax, I'll write income tax. Okay, and now see equalization levy is abolished by now. So UPSC may ask about equalization levy whether it is present or some, it may give 2%, 3% data, but we should know that it is abolished. Okay, so that's it, friends. That's it for this question. Now let's go to the next question. Consider the following statements. FRBM Review Committee report has recommended a debt to GDP ratio of 60% for the general government by 2023, comprising 40% for the central government and 20% for the state governments. Yes, friends, this statement is exactly true. Okay, it is part of the recommendations. This committee was headed by N.K. Singh. Okay, and they have given report in 2017. Okay, hope you will remember. Now let's go to the second statement. Central government has domestic liabilities of 21% of GDP as compared to that of 49% of GDP of state governments. See here, friends. Here it is telling it should be the FRBM limit is there, no? It should be 40% for central government and 20% for state governments. Now in the second statement is telling it is 21% of GDP for the center. See here, 1 and 2 statements are not in correlation, and we know first statement is correct, so second statement is false. Right? It was not 21%, it was some 46.1% for the center and 23.2% for the states at that point of time. Okay, at that point of time. Now the figures are changed. Okay, now, let's keep those figures aside. It will be changing from year to year. Right? Now, as per the Constitution of India, see here, as per the Article 293 Clause 1, okay, it is mandatory for a state to take the central government's consent for raising any loan if the farmer owes any outstanding liabilities to the latter. That means if state has taken any loan from the center and if it wants additional loans, so it should take the consent of central government. Okay, this provision is mentioned in Article 293, 293 Clause 3. Okay, another one more thing. In Article 293 Clause 1, state governments, they are allowed only to borrow from the domestic sources. Okay, only from the domestic sources. But we will come to know that, okay, some Australian government or World Bank has given loans to the Andhra Pradesh government or Telangana government or any other Bihar, Gujarat, all these things. But see, friends, it is in the name of the state, but the loan is present in the center only. Okay, center state takes the loan on behalf of the state governments and it provides that loans to the state governments. Okay, so we have one thing we should remember is don't go with the media point of views. Okay, they will say that finance minister will introduce the bill in the parliament, but it is not finance minister. It is president who introduces the budget in the parliament. So same way, according to the Article 293 Clause 1, state governments can only borrow from the domestic sources, not from the foreign sources. Okay, see here, even the third statement is also, sorry, it is correct, right? Yes, third statement is also correct. Answer is 1 and 3 only. Now what we have to read? See, we have to read the FRBM Act, its recommendations, the FRBM committee recommendations, and what the FRBM Act is given. And also, there is one escape clause recently added to it. So if anyone knows, please give it in the comment section. Right? So all these things we should read, friends. Okay? And now, coming to, see here, since it is mentioned Article 29 in the Constitution, it is mandatory to take outstanding liabilities, all these things it is present now. So we have to read, especially the financial relations between the center-state relations. The chapter is there now in the Lakshmikant. Even that chapter becomes important, and other relevant articles also becomes very important. Okay, even if not asked in prelims, you can use this article in the mains as well. Now, coming to 10th question. Consider the following statements. The quantity of imported edible oils is more than the domestic production of edible oils in the last 5 years. See here, friends, India is importing edible oils. Of course, India is largest producer of edible oils. It is producing a great amount. Okay, it is contributing to 10% of the worldwide production. But still, because of the demand from our domestic side, we had to import the edible oils. Okay, 60% of our need of the edible oils, it is coming from the imports only. Okay, so this statement is correct. Now, government does not impose any customs duty on all the imported edible oils as special case. See here, friends, by seeing the first statement, we feel that okay, government is doing some benefits for the import countries. But see, we are producing 10% of edible oils, 10% of world production in our country. So we need to encourage the domestic players as well. So in this way, even government, for our need only, it is importing edible oils. But even though, because to encourage these domestic players, we are imposing custom duties on the imported edible oil also. Okay, the percentage of the custom duties is varying according to the different type of oils. It is not same. Please remember this point. It is not same, but we are levying the custom duty. So second statement becomes wrong. First statement is true. Now what we have to do? See, we need to read about edible oils. How much India is importing, from where it is importing, how much it, what is the Indian production. Right, we are leading producers in oil seeds. Right, in the horticulture, all these things. So economic survey and the budget data, these becomes very important. Okay, all these things in the year by year they will be changing, but these trends will be given in the economic survey. So we have to revise economic survey, at least summary, while going to the examination, before the examination. Right? Now, coming to 11th question. He wrote the biographies of Majni, Garibaldi, Shivaji, and Sri Krishna, stayed in America for some time, and was also elected to the Central Assembly. No, he was. This is the personality related question, friends. Here the answer is Lala Lajpat Rai. Right? I hope by seeing this Majni and Garibaldi, you could have known that answer is Lala Lajpat Rai. Correct? And he also authored several books like Unhappy India, Young India, History of Arya Samaj, okay, England's Debt to India, all these things he have written. Right? And also he has written the biographies of Dayanand Saraswati. Right? And all these things he has done because to infuse the patriotism and nationalism in the youth of Punjab especially. And since the people over there, they were not given sufficient access to the books in English, so he wanted to give that access by writing these sort of books. He's a visionary, Lala Lajpat Rai, right? He was one among the extremists, Lal Bal Pal. Okay. Now he traveled to US in 1907. Please remember this. Okay. There now he gave the comparison between Indian societies and Western societies. There here in India we have caste societies, right? Caste-based discrimination. In Western societies, he found that there are color-based discrimination, that is racial discrimination. Okay, he equated these sociological dimensions of India and West. Okay, and one more thing, he joined the Swaraj Party in 1926, and he got elected to Central Legislative Assembly. He became its deputy leader as well. And also in the same year, in August in that month, 1926, he resigned from Swaraj Party also. Okay, so here now see what becomes very important is, of course, UPSC has given the answer as Lala Lajpat Rai. No, we came to know about Lala Lajpat Rai, and see here there are 3 other personalities given in the options. So we need to know things which these people have done. Okay, similarly, what see he's asking, he wrote biographies. So what are the books written by these people? Right? He stayed in America. If that means we have to know whether these people have traveled to other nations or if they have traveled to other states in India. What are their contributions? Right? And he got elected. That means did these people are part of any legal bodies, legislative bodies? Okay. So we need to focus on all these things, friends. Okay. UPSC, by giving these type of questions, it may ask the similar type of questions in the upcoming years. Okay. Now, coming to 12th question. Consider the following statements. Aadhaar card can be used as a proof of citizenship or domicile. No, we know this. It is not a proof of for the citizenship or domicile. Right? No. Once issued, Aadhaar number cannot be deactivated or omitted by issuing authority. Then what is the need of creating an Aadhaar number? Right? One may create fake Aadhaar IDs. See people who are coming from the other countries, okay, illegally migrants. They have the Aadhaar numbers. Now what we are doing? We are finding them, okay, illegal migrants. Now we are removing their Aadhaar numbers, Aadhaar data as well. Right? So UIDAI can remove Aadhaar numbers. Right? So the answer is neither 1 nor 2. Okay. See you, friends. See, this statement is there, no? It is under the section 9 of Aadhaar Act. Okay. I let A 2016. Okay. That Aadhaar card is not a proof of citizenship or domicile. Okay. Please remember this. Okay. Now what we have to do? We need to read about Aadhaar, its uses, and now Supreme Court has said that Aadhaar details cannot be used Okay, it is a violation of right to privacy, and also it is violation of Digital Rights Protection Act also. In that also it is there that Aadhaar number cannot be used anywhere. You can't ask Aadhaar details of the customers. Okay, so these things becomes very important. We need to read about Aadhaar related Aadhaar, and also UIDAI. Okay, recent developments. We are linking everything with the Aadhaar now. Okay, Mandega cards, voter ID cards, banks, PAN cards, all these things we are linking to Aadhaar, right? So all these things become very important, and recent developments regarding Aadhaar also we need to read. So I'll try to make notes, and you people also try to read about Aadhaar in these dimensions. Now, coming to 13th question, which of the following has or have shrunk immensely, dried up in the recent past due to human activities? Here, friends, the answer is RLC. Only one. Okay, this was there in news for a very long time. Okay, this RLC, it was a saline lake. Okay, now it is a saline lake in the Central Asia. Okay, in 1960s itself, the RLC, it was a largest drainage basin. Okay, large drainage basin. It used to cater for the larger regions. Now what happened? Because of the Russia or Soviet Union at that time, they have taken these waters for their agriculture use. Now what has happened? Almost 70 to 75% of this RLC is now shrunk. Okay, now, and it is the area is reduced. Now because of the reduction in the water, now it has become the saline lake. Okay, and even the depth of the RLC has also decreased. Okay, here the answer is one. Now what we have to do, we need to know the boundaries of RLC. It is between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, and also Black Sea. Right, T burger. I hope you remember the mnemonic T burger. Turkey. Okay, Bulgaria, Ukraine, Russia, Georgia, Romania. Right, and also Lake Baikal. Okay, we need to know the bordering states, and also few facts relating to this as well. As we know, RLC is shrinking, and there can be many other properties of Black Sea and Lake Baikal, right? So we have to make notes on those as well. Okay, now coming to 14th question. Rule of law index is released by which of the following? See, friends, the same index, I think today itself in my MMP plus GS2 classes have been start. Okay, by Empuri sir, and sir, he mentioned this index when he was teaching rule of law given by AV Dicey. Okay, now this is given by World Justice Report. It's an annual report. Okay, and unfortunately, India's rank is 79 out of some 142 countries. Okay, 142 or something. Okay, so here the direct answer is World Justice Report. Now what we have to do, we need to read about this World Justice Report. There are four parameters of World Justice Report. Okay, we need to make notes on all those things, right? And see here, friends, we have seen Amnesty International. It is on human rights. It was a previous year question. I think it is given in some 2015 or 16. I don't remember exactly. Right, now we have to read about International Court of Justice and also the Office of UN Commissioner for Human Rights. Right, all these organizations you need to make notes. See, this is a PYQ, and he has given in the statement. Right, now coming to 15th question. Which one of the following links all the ATMs in India? Okay, it is done by NPCI, friends. Okay, now NPCI is formed on the basis of the guidelines and help of RBI and Indian Banks Association, IBA. Okay, which is given in the statement 1. Okay, and now see, linking all the ATMs, it was developed or designed by Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology. I'll tell IDRBT. Okay, in some 2000. Now what has done? This linking of ATMs in India, it is taken up by NPCI in 2009. Okay, so the answer is NPCI. Now see, we have seen many questions regarding NPCI. Okay, Rupee credit card or Rupee card we have seen in the recent questions. Right, now what we have to do, we need to read about all these organizations. See, National Securities Depository Limited, it is there in the options. Reserve Bank, of course, Reserve Bank of India. It is very, very important. We need to read all those things related to RBI, right? And also, we need to focus on NPCA as well. Since UPSC is focusing more on NPCA, and there are plenty of questions which we have seen in the recent past only. Okay, now coming to 16th question. Consider the following statements. Okay, capital adequacy ratio is the amount that banks have to maintain in the form of their own funds to offset any loss that banks incur if account holders fail to repay. Yes, friends, this is the exact definition of CAR. Okay, it is also called CRAR, where it is said that capital risk weighted assets ratio. Okay, it is also called capital adequacy ratio. It is also called capital to risk weighted assets ratio. Please remember this. Okay, they both are one and the same. Okay, this is to maintain the stability, right, and also efficiency in the finance system. So banks cannot lend how much ever possible to the people. It should maintain some cash with them. Okay, adequate cash. Now, CAR is decided by each individual bank. Here it is. See, we are telling that bank should maintain some limit, some amount. Okay, to tackle the bankings, to maintain the stability, to protect the depositors. Then what is telling? It is regulated by each bank. How can bank regulate itself? It wants to increase its profit. So definitely it will be monitored by some central agency. In our case, it is central bank, and other regulatory authorities also can do it. Right now, the answer is one only. Now what we have to read? We have to read CAR in detail. Okay, CR or CRAR. Right? It is the formula of CRAR. Okay, it is very, very important formula of CRAR. It is represented in the form of percentage. Right? And what is the purpose of CRAR? And see, these things are mentioned in the Basel law codes. Okay, so we need to read about Basel law codes or Basel norms. Okay, there are 3 norms: Basel 1, Basel 2, Basel 3. All these things becomes very, very important. We have to read all those things, friends. Okay, and now see, we need to know about the calculation part as well. Why I'm telling calculation is very important. See, now in 2025, there are 2 questions on calculations. Right, I hope you remember. So we need to know the calculation part as well. Take a basic example and let's try to solve that. Okay, who knows, UPSC may ask in the next year or subsequent years about the calculations, right? So calculation also we'll try to do. Okay, if we do all these things, this video becomes lengthy. That's why I'm just telling that we need to read all those things. Okay, coming to 17th question. Identify the platform. The identity platform Aadhaar provides open application programming interfaces. What does it imply? Okay, now see. It can be integrated into any electronic device. Of course, yes. Now we are doing the same, right? In the Umang app, if we want to claim EPFO, we are getting the Aadhaar OTP. Even when we want to log into the ITR, e-returning or e-filing, even there also we are getting the Aadhaar OTPs. So it is integrated into any electronic device, right? So first statement is correct. Now, online authentication using iris is possible. Yes, I hope you people may have applied to SSC CGL. In the recent notification has come now. So they have asked to install the Aadhaar app, where it has taken the facial biometric from us through phone only. I hope people who have applied for SSC CGL, they might be knowing, right? So both statements are correct. Answer is both 1 and 2. Now what we have to do? See here, application programming interfaces. Okay, that to open. Right? So we need to read about this. Right? What are the guidelines of UI, TAI? Of course, we have discussed it before. Okay, and see this APIs. These are also very, very important. Okay, now it is simple question only, but let's try to get deep into the topics. Now, coming to 18th question. Very recently, in each of the following countries have lakhs of people either suffered from severe famine, acute malnutrition, or died due to starvation caused by war, ethnic conflicts, etc. Now see, most of the cases, friends, these regions will be either Middle East regions, or African countries. Okay, unfortunately, it should not be there, but these regions, they are always in the turmoil. Okay, and UPSC focuses on these turmoil regions, right? Now, see, Angola and Zambia, Morocco and Tunisia, Venezuela and Colombia, Yemen and South Sudan. See, friends, for many odd reasons, South Sudan is always in news because of their poverty, famines, ethnic conflicts, civil wars, all those things, and also Yemen. Okay, so these two things at that time, not even at that time, even now also, Yemen is facing the civil war crisis, and also South Sudan is still facing famines. Okay, governments and all those things, they're not functioning in a right way, and also there are many civil wars, ethnic conflicts in these regions. Okay, it's not driven by their geography; it is driven by their the vested interest of other Western nations also. Okay, some they have their own ethnic conflicts, and also these issues are aggregated by the other Western nations. Their influence is very much there. Okay, so here answer is D. Okay, now what we have to do? We need to know the locations of all these countries. We don't know. UPSC may ask. See, in 2025, UPSC has asked about Venezuela. Sorry, no, not in 2025. Sorry, it's not Venezuela. It is Vietnam. Sorry for that, friends. But I have seen one statement regarding Venezuela as well. Even though Venezuela is having uh, uh, petrol resources, it is still poor. I think this statement was there. It may be, that's not the issue, but we need to read about all these countries. Okay, at least we'll try to make some bordering states, all these things. Okay, since UPSC has given it as an options, it may ask it in the future exams, right? Now, coming to 19th question. Regarding Wood's dispatch, which of the following statements are true? Okay. Grants in aid system was introduced. Yes, it was introduced so that even private players comes into the picture. Okay, the education gets encouraged. No. Establishment of universities was recommended. Yes, it was recommended, and especially in the presidencies, Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras. Right, in the line of London University. No. English as a medium of instructions at all levels, not at all levels, at the higher levels. At the lower levels, that means in the primary levels, it has given the very greatest verdict that it should be there in the vernacular languages. Okay, so this statement is wrong. See here, 3 is there in 3 options. Answer is only 1 and 2. Now see here, friends, Wood's dispatch is called Magna Carta of education. Okay, English education in India, because English education was introduced, right? And now it has given a comprehensive plan for the spread of education, especially the downward filtration theory, that try to educate a sector of people, then they will try to educate the masses thereon. Okay, and also a systematic hierarchy of the schools, like primary schools. Okay, next Anglo vernacular high schools, then coming to universities. Okay, in English education, and as we have discussed, grants in aid for the private players as well. Okay, so let's try to read about this Wood's dispatch, especially the education related chapter from the Spectrum book. Okay, all the other education related committees, recommendations, okay, policies, all are there in the Spectrum book, right? So we need to revise that chapter, right? Now, coming to 20th question. With reference to the Parliament of India, which of the following parliamentary committees scrutinizes and reports to the House whether the powers to make regulations, rules, sub-rules, bylaws, etc. conferred by Constitution or delegated by the Parliament are being properly exercised by executive within the scope of such delegation? Now, let's see the options. Committee on Government Assurances. Okay. Committees on Subordinate Legislation. See, friends, legislation means what? Parliament will do the legislation, that means legislative body, whichever makes the laws, it is called legislation. Now what we are telling? Subordinate legislation. Right, see here, sub rules, bylaws, and it is not done by Parliament, it is done by the executive. This delegation, delegated powers, it is given by the Parliament or Constitution to the executive to make the laws. That means it is nothing but Parliament will pass a law, and law is like a skeleton, and it needs some rules and regulations, right? So that will be done by executive, and the rules and regulations which are done by executive, it should be in line with the law. That will be done by this committee on subordinate legislation. Okay, even if you don't know also, From here you can find the sub rules, and also it is done by executive, right? So it can be said that it is a subordinate legislation, delegated legislation given to executive by the parliament or by the constitution. Okay, the answer is B. Now what we have to do? See, we need to read about these committees: Committee on Government Assurances, Rules Committee, Business Advisory Committee. Okay, parliamentary committees, standing committees, okay, their strength as well, all those things. See here, coming to Committee on Subordinate Legislation, okay, it was constituted in 1953. Okay, it is there in both the houses. Okay, the strength is 15 members. For both the houses also, strength is 15 members only. Okay, and the chairman is appointed by the chairman of the houses. Okay, respective chairman. And if the deputy chairman or deputy speaker, if he becomes the part of the committee, he will become the chairman of the committee. Okay, so now let's try to read about all the other committees, and also let's try to revise the entire committee, parliamentary committees or cabinet committees chapters in the Lakshmikant. Okay, now let's go to the 21st question. Now, coming to the statements, as per the Right to Education Act, to be eligible for the appointment as a teacher in a state, a person would be required to possess the minimum qualification laid down by the concerned State Council of Teachers Education. It is not State Council, it is National Council. Okay, it is done by national level. Right? So see here, first statement is wrong. Right? Now, as per the RT Act, for teaching primary classes, a candidate is required to pass a teacher eligibility test. Yes. Conducted in accordance with the National Council of Teachers Education guidelines. Yes, friends. And this TET exam is conducted by this respective state governments. Okay, now. So this statement is correct. Now, in India, more than 90% teacher education institutes are directly under state governments. See here, friends, education is privatized since many years. Okay, there are more private schools than government schools. In the same way, there are more teacher education institutions run by private players than government. Okay, 90% of teacher education institutions, they are run by private players only. Here the answer is, here 3 is wrong. We got the answer only 2. Right, now what we have to do? We need to read about right to education. Right, this is also fundamental right under Article 21A. We should know the relevant amendment as well. Right, and those amendments, it is also done to the fundamental duties as well. Right, to the DPSPs as well. Right, all these things we need to read, and the provisions of the Act. See, is talking about teacher eligibility test, all these things, no? So we need to read all those things. Right, now coming to 22nd question. Consider the following dates. See here, friends, it is asking, UPSC is asking about tradition and the state. See, if you don't know these type of questions, please don't try to do anything in the exam. Okay, please skip this type of questions. Okay, don't waste time. You can use this time in the any other question. Okay, if you don't know, please try to skip this type of questions. Okay, outrightly. Now see, Chapchar Kut festival. Yes, it belongs to Mizoram state. Okay, it is like completing. They will do this festival after completing the Jhum cultivation. Okay, now Komjom Parba Ballad. Sorry, friends, if I am spelling it wrong. Okay, he is telling that it is belong to Manipur state. Yes, this belongs to Manipur state. Okay, it is like a singing and dancing with the drums. Okay, it's like a battle. See, this festival is celebrated because Manipuri people, they have fought against the British Empire in the war of 1897. Okay, so they want to, in the commemoration of that war, they are celebrating this festival. Okay, see, this type of festivals are also very good in infusing the unity among our country. So see, whenever there is a relevant question on ethnic conflicts in the Manipur, and see, we have seen Manipur state is very much famous for the conflicts, right, in the recent past. But we can use this festival, okay, in the mains exam by telling that this is a musical art form where Manipuri people, they have incited the spirit of patriotism and nationalism among the people since 1897. Okay, since they have fought against British. This becomes a very good point in writing mains exam. Okay, I hope you people will remember this point. Okay, now, so 1 and 2 are correct. Now coming to Tangta dance is telling it belongs to Sikkim. No, it belongs to Manipur only. Okay, so 3 is wrong. Answer is 1 and 2. Now see, Tangta dance, it is a martial dance, friends. Okay, it's like a martial art dance. This festival is evolved from the kings of Manipur. Okay, these are like a martial drills. Okay, so here friends, answer is 1 and 2. Now coming to 23rd question, consider the following statements. Food Safety and Standards Act 2006 replaced Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954. Sorry friends, yes, it has repealed this act. It is not repealed, but what it has done, this act, it is an umbrella act where it took many other acts into it. Okay, it got consolidated. There are many other acts also. See, here it is telling Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, right? There is one act, Fruits Product Order 1955 and Meat Food Products Order 1973, Vegetable Oil Products 1947, okay, Edible Oils Packaging Order 1988, okay, Milk and Milk Products 1992. Okay, please try to just know these things. Okay, just simply remember that this act, it is a consolidation of many other acts. That's it. Okay, and now see. Now let's go to the second statement. The Food Safety and Standards Authority of India (FSSAI) is under the charge of Director General of Health Services. Friends, it was under the Director General of Health Services when this act was present. Okay, after 2006, when the Food Safety and Standards Act it came into picture, now it has become FSSAI has become autonomous body. Okay, so now this statement is wrong. Okay, but see, it is autonomous, right? But it is established under the Food Safety of Standards Act 2006, right? I have said before. Now, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, okay, it is the administrative ministry which implements this FSSAI Act. Okay, please keep this in mind. Now it is an independent authority and it is functioning under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Okay, now, here answer is only 1. Now what we have to do? We need to read about this Food Safety and Standards Act 2006 and also FSSAI. What are its functions? Okay, FSSAI functions are very important. We read in the APMCs, right? MSPs, right? Procurement of food grains, all these things. FSSAI plays a crucial role, right? So we need to make notes on all those things and we need to revise regarding all these chapters. Okay, now coming to 24th question. The term two-state solution is sometimes mentioned in news in the context of affairs of. See here, friends. This is mentioned in the context of Israel, between the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Right. So it is about the two-state solution. Right. Even in the United Nations also, this resolution was passed in some resolution number 1397 in 2000. It was supported by USA also that this resolution has agreed upon the two-state solution. That is, there should be both Israel and Palestine existing. What becomes important, since Israel and Hamas war is there in the picture, and even Iran also. Okay, Israel has, I think USA has bombed Iran. Right. Now what we have to do? We need to mainly focus on the boundaries. Okay, mapping of Israel, Palestine. Okay, Syria, Lebanon. All these things are in use. Gaza Strip. Okay, Gaza Strip is between Egypt and Israel. Okay, West Bank. See, it is called West Bank. Why? Because it is in the west side of the Dead Sea. Okay, and Dead Sea is between Israel and Jordan. Okay, even Palestine has border with the Dead Sea. Okay, so please keep all this in mind. And also Golan Heights. Golan Heights is also in use. It is occupied by Israel, and Golan Heights, it is in the Syria. It is a conflict region between Syria and Israel. Okay, Tel Aviv, it is a port city of Israel. See, all these things are in use. That's why I am repeating it again and again. Now, even we have seen the question regarding Mediterranean Sea, right? The bordering states. Okay, Israel also have the bordering with the Mediterranean Sea. And there in that question they are given. See, it has asked about Jordan, right? So Jordan does not have border with Mediterranean Sea. See, all these things will become very important. Mediterranean Sea, Dead Sea, okay, and Middle East, especially Israel, Iran. All these nations are in news, right? So we need to read all regarding all these things. Okay. Now, coming to 25th question. With reference to the provisions made under the National Food Security Act 2013, consider the following statements. Okay. The families coming under the category of below poverty line only are eligible to receive subsidized food grains. No, friends. See here, this is National Food Security Act. It is for all the citizens. Okay. It does not have any. It does not discriminate, especially. Okay, but the percentage differs. Okay, the subsidy of percentage will be differing to people to people. Right. So first statement is wrong. No. The eldest woman in the household of age 18 years or above shall be the head of the household for the purpose of issuance of ration card. Yes, this statement is exactly true. Okay, we are giving due respect to the women. It also improves the dignity of women in the family. Now, the pregnant women and lactating mothers are entitled to take home ration of 1600 calories per day during pregnancy and for 6 months thereafter. See here, friends, under this act, they are given 6,000 rupees of maternity benefit. Okay, and see here, friends, UPSC, it just played with the number. It is not 1600, it is 600. For the children who are between 6 months to 6 years, it is 500 calories. Okay, for the malnourished children, it is 800 calories. Okay, so this statement is also wrong. Answer is 2 only. Now see, friends, what becomes very important, we need to read about National Food Security Act 2013, right? And now we are providing food grains in subsidy to many people. There are many schemes which we have introduced, especially in the COVID case also, during the pandemic also, right? So that's it, friends. We have done with the 25 questions. In the next video, we'll be starting with from 26 to 50 questions, right? So thank you, friends. Let's meet in the next video. I hope you are liking these videos. If there are any issues, please let me know. And if you like this content, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the videos. Okay. Please give your valuable comments. Okay. Please comment on the video, which if I need any improvements. Okay. If I'm telling any wrong things. Okay. If I have made any mistakes. Okay. So and also share these channels to your friends and family. Right. So thanks for watching this video, friends. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you. Jai Hind.